Hey guys, how is everybody doing today? So today is November 10th, a Friday, and I'm going to get into a fairly serious Bitcoin Cash versus Bitcoin discussion right now, okay guys? We're gonna get serious like the Joker style, like Heath Ledger, like take a knife and cut a smile into your face kind of serious, okay guys? Now, I have been watching Bitcoin for the past, or Bitcoin Cash for the past 2 hours, and it has gone up by about $75. And I have also watched the negative correlation of Bitcoin versus Bitcoin Cash. Okay, guys? Now, normally I just do a technical analysis, but what I'm going to do is also get into a little bit of the fundamentals to let everybody know what the heck is going on right now. So let's talk about Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, okay? First of all, the big problem right now with Bitcoin is its limited scalability and high transaction fees, okay? The general public, businesses, and investors were fairly disgruntled with Segwit2x because the consensus was not reached, which was supposed to be for the development of the Bitcoin network, right? It wasn't going to be adopted widespread, which was why the consensus wasn't reached and why Segwit2x didn't happen. Not to mention, like the Lightning Network of Bitcoin is probably years away. And what we have to acknowledge, the big problem with Bitcoin is it's unsuitable for small transactions, okay? Very unsuitable for small transactions. The fees are outrageous, and it's hard for me to believe that small businesses and merchants can actually implement Bitcoin as payment options. So because of all these issues arising, investors are hopping on the Bitcoin Cash train. I mean, Segwit2x, as we saw, when it was canceled, we saw a dump of about $900 in less than $200 in the market. And businesses and investors are actually adopting Bitcoin Cash now. In the past few days, we've seen massive surges in Bitcoin Cash volume and in price action. So right now, we have to understand that Bitcoin is, that Bitcoin Cash overtaking Bitcoin, well, that would be speculative, right? To say that it could take over Bitcoin one day. That's like people saying that Ethereum was going to take over Bitcoin. It's called the flippening. That's the event. Right now, Bitcoin's block size is limited to only 1 megabyte, which makes it very unsuitable for large amounts of transactions per day. But Bitcoin Cash, they plan to solve that issue with a default block size of 2 megabytes and scaling possibility to 8 megabytes. So what does this mean? It means that Bitcoin right now can only process about 250,000 transactions per day, whereas Bitcoin Cash can do about 2 million transactions per day and is actually a lot cheaper in general to use. Since I've started this technical analysis, Bitcoin Cash has gone up by $10 already. In fact, there is so much bullish pressure right now on the 5-minute chart. We are seeing an actual gap here already in price. Now it's finally coming down a little bit. So without further ado, guys, let's get into some Elliott Wave counts of Bitcoin Cash, and let's take this seriously because the fate of the cryptocurrency community could very well depend on this technical analysis. Okay guys, we're gonna forget about every indicator right now, and we're gonna basically take a look at everything here, all right? Let's zoom out very far first of all and get some proper wave counts. These are extremely important to get a proper count of, okay? So here it just basically tanks. So we're not gonna call this one wave 1 or anything yet, all right guys? Actually, sure, we can. So let's call this wave 1 right here. Do you know what? We'll leave out that one part for now. We'll call it right here. There's 1, there's 2. Here are your 3 waves there. There's 3. Here's 4, okay guys? And here is 5. In fact, we can even call this one right here. That's perfectly acceptable as well, okay? To call that 1 right here. Although I would prefer to call this my 1, whereas this is the initial 1, and I don't really factor it in right now, okay? So we're gonna call that our wave 1. Now guys, let's draw a bunch of trend lines so we can see where the supports and the resistances are. I am going to draw a beautiful support line first of all, okay? From right here. Do you guys see that? Do you see how beautiful we are finding support right there? This right here acted as a massive resistance, okay? Or sorry, support. And let's see if it actually fit horizontally as well. Yes, it did, right? It fit fairly well horizontally as well. Although what I would have preferred is this one right here. Now the second thing we're going to do from a technical analysis perspective is draw our wedge right here. Fairly nice looking, right? Beautiful. So the area where it was consolidating after this map, it was first released on the market, right? After the fork, people dumped it. Basically, they all thought it was free money. And then it surged back up, right? Surged back up all the way to that high up there. So this was the most relevant area that we were working with, okay? Would you guys agree with me? That it ended up forming a symmetric triangle. Now I want to show you guys the differences with triangles really quickly, okay? This here is a falling wedge, okay, where it's angling and sloping downwards. That one is bullish. This one here is a rising wedge, which is bearish. This one here is a descending triangle, which is usually bearish. All right, and this one here is an ascending triangle. Ascending triangle, which is bullish, okay? Just to generally speaking, what happens is it makes 5 touches like that, 3, 4, and then 5, and then it breaks upwards. This one right here will generally do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it breaks down, okay? This one right here, it also does the same thing usually, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, and then it breaks down. And this one right here, it usually does 1, 2, oh, this one here I completely drew it wrong, my mistake. Actually, I meant to draw it like that, okay? It'll usually do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, and then it breaks upwards. Let me just give you guys an idea of what I'm talking about. This one will break up, this one will break down, this one will break down, this one will break up. Just very, very basic patterns that I'm drawing, just to catch up all the newer viewers that may not be familiar with the patterns of triangles, symmetric triangles, descending triangles, ascending triangles, wedges. This one here is very different, okay guys? This one is neither a falling wedge, a rising wedge, a descending triangle, or an ascending triangle. This one is a very, they call it a symmetric triangle, okay? A symmetric triangle is very even. It could be like that, right? A little bit, you know, it could be like this. But either way, it's sloped both ways. The resistance is sloped down and the support is sloped up. What happens at the end of here always, guys, is that there's so much pressure from both the bulls and the bears that it usually ends up resuming its pattern. Now let me show you the count for the Elliott wave here. You guys want to know my thought right now? What's going through my mind? What's going through my mind the most is right now is how serious I'm being right now. And I've never been this serious in my life, guys. Like, this is so serious right now. I am getting incredibly excited hearing the news about Bitcoin Cash and about Bitcoin and everything going on. And I want to thank my friend from Thailand, Kong, for getting my attention. He's been trying to tell me about it for 3-4 days now. He's been asking me to do a technical analysis on it. He has basically handed me like money on a silver plate for the past 3-4 days, and I have been so busy looking at IOTA and OmiziGo and other coins, where he's basically like, Philicon, look at Bitcoin Cash, what is going on right now. So here we go. I apologize to you, Kong. You know who you are. Now it has my full attention because, guys, this is fairly serious, and the money potential that we can be seeing is unbelievable, okay? Now this one right here, guys, I'm gonna tell you right now that we're gunning for about $1,200 right now before a correction, okay? Now let's do an Elliott wave count. Okay, let's do the Elliott wave count, guys. Give me a count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ow, ow! That was a really bad one. Let's count it properly, Luna. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Ow! Ow! There we go, guys. And I just want to tell you guys that that is how you count the Elliott wave, just like that. Okay, guys, now that you have a clear-cut example of how even my dog can count Elliott wave, I'm going to show you guys how to count Elliott wave from the perspective of my dog, Luna. Okay, guys. This here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is A, this is B, and that is C right there, guys. Okay. We have the 5 basic subwaves that have formed on the daily chart that I can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, for all the people that are arguing with me, I know what you guys are thinking. Well, wave 4 is overlapping into the territory of wave 1. That is okay, guys. It's called an ending first. It's called a leading first wave, okay? No problem at all. This one can be called a flat, and there are many, many times where we see this kind of formation. Okay, guys, for all the naysayers out there, I just got my trusty little Elliott Wave handbook. This is called a leading diagonal, okay, guys? And it's very important to make note of what I'm about to say. They can occur in wave 1 positions of impulses and in the wave A position of zigzags, okay? So for all the people that will disagree with me, I want to tell you guys you're wrong and I'm right. So say my 3 favorite words. It's you were right, Silicon. So anyways, this is called, okay guys, a diagonal. A diagonal which is often found in the A. Now we don't see all the other subwaves in here. Now what happened here, if this was wave 1, right here, gentlemen, okay? If this is wave 1, which we will call the primary wave 1. I'm going to make sure that you guys understand this so clearly before we take off. This will be the Bitcoin Cash analysis to take a look at because I'm going to be incredibly thorough, serious, and professional as you guys have seen already, okay guys? It's so professional that we've even had a guest on the show already, okay? Her name is Luna. She's a 7-pound Pomeranian / Yorkshire Terrier that's 4 years old. Her favorite coin is IOTA. If you guys haven't seen my IOTA videos, make sure you guys watch it because every time I say IOTA, she howls. So we have C right here. Now what happens next? Now that this wave 1 finished, right? We could have assumed that this was wave 2. We could have assumed 100% that this was wave 2, just based on ABC being done. And then we could have assumed that this was going to go up like that, all right? But clearly it couldn't even touch this spot here. So what ended up happening was it formed a new region. It formed a new high. So we know that this is not 2 there. We're just going to drag it to basically somewhere down. We'll redraw it later. Now, a line goes up here. This is now X right there, okay? And then now that we know this is X right there, we know that from X, if there was a top point X and it couldn't break any higher highs, what we do know is that after X, there's always going to be another ABC. Imagine that was X up there. There's always going to be an ABC as well. So let me show you guys how it looks. This is the A, this is the B, okay? And now this is the C right there. So let's label this in properly. Actually, let's just draw it like this. It would be a lot easier. My apologies, guys, for taking up your time while doing this. This is A, that's B, and that is C, okay? Now what we'll assume is that when C is basically forming, it ends up making a complicated pattern there, which I won't go into too much detail. We could assume that it's going to try to break out, but it didn't break out. So let's zoom in to a different time frame, okay? Let's zoom into a different time frame here. So what we basically see is it tries to break out, and I will call this just a simple XYZ correction. That will be, this one here is going to be the end of Y, okay? That is where Y ends, okay? We have, and this one is also W, I forgot to say. Now what we get is, this is not wave 2. We would have assumed that wave 2 started right here, all right? And then they made an X, A, B, C, okay? And now what I would have done is I would have assumed, because it couldn't break out of there, I will call this point X again. And I will assume another ABC correction because it couldn't get a higher high. And surely enough, we pretty much did get one, right? This is a higher low than here. So I will call this right here, just from this general area. All right, guys, A, and then B, and then C, right here. And this is where Y was, this is where X, and this is what we call a triple Elliott wave combo, guys. These patterns are, it takes a lot of practice to develop it. Now that XYZ has formed, we know that this is the end, and it's most likely not going to have an extended double XYZ correction. With 100% certainty, we can go long right here when the wedge ended up meeting, right? The wedge ended up meeting. Here, for example, it tried to break out because it formed a new formation, if you've noticed, right? It made an A, B, and a C, A, B, C here, and it actually ended up forming a new wedge, which I will draw for you right here, right now. So instead of that area, we're now working with basically this area in here, okay? A, B, and C, right around here. Do you guys see what I'm talking about? Right? So of course, at the breakout of this wedge where people were gonna go long, but it didn't quite break out, so it formed an XYZ correction instead. And that, guys, is what we will call a triple Elliott wave combo, and this is the proper way to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wave 1 finishes here. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with a leading wave there, flat, whatever you guys call it. And because it couldn't break out with conviction there, right here, I mean, we call this W at the bottom, X, and then we have an A, B, and a C, just basically down here, right? And that is where the Y position is. And I zoomed into a different time frame and we saw it on a smaller scale that this was X, it couldn't break out there. Then we would assume another A, B, C, which also ends Z, which makes a W, W, X, Y, X, Z pattern. This is a little bit more advanced Elliott wave if you guys haven't seen me analyze like this before. But what we know with certainty is that this is the key place, okay guys? This is the key place for the breakout. Now, some people may say, well, breakouts don't happen because you're drawing lines. Breakouts happen because supply meets demand, guys. And it's going to continue its bullish trend. This is the original bullish trend, okay? This is going on an impulse. And because of a lot of the fundamental news that is going on right now, it is absolutely being driven into a bullish market right now. Since I have started this presentation, guys, this technical analysis, we have seen Bitcoin Cash go up by $50 right now, okay, guys? And here I am, more concerned about doing this TA for you guys than actually getting in the market. I am not going to be going into this market right now. I'm staying clear of it, and what I will do is short it at the top. Shorting it, is that a good idea? Absolutely it is, because I'm a bear by nature and I can easily spot the top, and that is my specialty, guys, spotting the top. All right, so this is the 55 moving average. You know, we'll actually change this to 21, okay, to 21, right around there, and the 21 moving average of a Fibonacci number. It also started to cross over, and the moment it actually crossed over as well and closed above the 55 moving average on the daily chart, or sorry, 21, look at the volume confirmation and the volume confirmation. It has absolutely gone up right now, and this is going up at an astronomical amount. So guys, don't ever say to anybody that wedges, that bullish trends don't start because of lines. They start because they get squeezed into a particular region, and when they get squeezed into a particular region enough, a breakout always occurs to one side. So how would you have played this, okay guys? First of all, there are some Elliott Wave rules that you must know. Let me pull up my trusty Elliott Wave textbook here that's like 200 pages long. Elliott further discovered in price terms, wave 3 is often the longest and never the shortest amongst the 3 actionary waves of a motive, okay? As long as wave 3 undergoes a greater percentage than either wave 1 or 5, this rule is satisfied. Basically what they are saying is that wave 3 is never the shortest wave, okay? It is never the shortest wave. It is usually the longest, but if it is not the longest, then wave 5 would be the longest, right? If wave 5 was the longest, what they call this is an extended fifth wave, okay? An extended fifth wave. Now, if wave 5 was the longest, then wave 3 will be the second longest, and wave 1 is the shortest. But what we could have is wave 1, say fairly long. So what we could have is wave 1 fairly long, wave 3 longer, and then wave 5 could be very short. That is possible, absolutely. But what we will never see is wave 3 being very, very short, okay? And then wave 5 very long. It does not satisfy the rule of Elliott Wave. Wave 3 is always longer than wave 1. And then wave 5 could be either equal, shorter, or greater than wave 3, okay? So what I'm getting to is, right now, if I took right here, okay guys, if I clone this right here, and I moved it over to right here, for example, so right now, just assuming right now that this is the old structure, okay? This is the old structure of where it was. That one right there moved a price range of $778. So what we will assume, because of the Elliott Wave rule, is that Bitcoin Cash, this wave right here, okay? This is now, I'm gonna clear all of this. This is wave 1, now that we have everything in hindsight, okay? This is wave 1. This is wave 2, okay guys? Wave 2 right here. Now what we are going to assume is that wave 3, based on Elliott Wave rules, is going to be at least longer, guys, than wave 1, okay? This is just general assumption, okay? So we will use Fibonacci extension tool, and we go from point A to point B and to point C, and here is at least a 1-to-1 ratio. So right now, what we're gutting for, based on Elliott Wave rules, guys, is a target of at least 1,078. Now, where is a more realistic target? Realistic target is probably 618. Somewhere in between here is a more realistic target, guys. Yes, I'm not, I swear guys, I'm not kidding right now. I know this seems really ridiculous, but what I'm doing is I'm just taking Elliott Wave rules, guys, and I'm just using them to do a technical analysis, actually a fairly basic one too. I mean, look at the volume that we're getting right here, okay guys? This is absurd, right? We're most likely gonna get an extended fifth wave. Let me show you what that is. Here is what we call an extended fifth wave, okay? There are 5 minor waves within the fifth wave, okay? That is what it is based on Elliott Wave rule. So we have one, so say 4 ended here, then we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let me just show you exactly what I mean right now, okay? So right now, this is clearly wave 1. This is clearly 2. This is clearly 3. This is clearly 4. And the fifth one looks like it'll be right here, right there for now. But it looks like there's going to be 5 more small waves as an extended fifth wave, like 1, 2, 3, you know, something like this, okay guys? I'm not drawing that right, my apologies. It'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then something like that, an extended fifth wave. For all we know, it could be right here for where it starts, but wherever this correction finishes, that is my bet right now, that there will be a massive extended fifth wave just based on targets, right? How does this look to you guys? So assuming that it hits just a 1-to-1 ratio, that's how targets work, guys. And I'm not going to go into the market psychology and the market conditions of how these predictions are made, but what I will tell you is that wave 3 is always longer than wave 1, and it can never be the shortest wave, okay? So this is a 100% realistic target, at least, where the 1-to-1 extension is, which is $1,078. But I think that it will do an extended fifth wave, and it will be greater, and it will actually be something like this. Now, I don't know exactly where it's going to finish. That we never ever know. All that we know is that it will at least get to the first target. That's what everybody in the market who are experienced, what they know, what they see. And based on liquidity and volume, this is an absolutely achievable and attainable target of 1-to-1 based on Fibonacci extension, and also based on the fact that wave 3 will always achieve a higher and greater magnitude than the original first wave that happened. So as we stand right now, people are taking some profit, right? People are taking some profit right now. Let's go take a look at it in closer detail. Do you guys see that some people are definitely taking some profit right now? This looks like it was the fifth wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it looks like there's going to be an even bigger extended fifth wave going on. So keep in mind, guys, that these are just targets of mine that I'm talking about, okay? They're targets based on fib extensions and just based on some simple rules that Guys, make sure you remain calm at all times as a trader. I was just trying to give you guys an example of what not to do when your charts mess up, okay? Never panic the way I just panicked. You stay calm and you trade on, okay? So guys, that is exactly what we are gonna have. We're gonna have a target zone. It couldn't even get to 168. It can absolutely get to 168 extension, which this one here, we never know how big the fifth wave is, guys. The fifth wave can usually be a massive number sometimes. So keep in mind that in the next few days, guys, target is 1078 all the way to 1557. That's probably not likely. I'd say it's more like around 1250 that it's going to get to. It's going to break 1-to-1 and then do, go a little bit higher than that and then just do an overthrow and then start correcting. Now, where will it correct to? Well, it depends on how bullish the market is, okay, guys? It really depends on how bullish the market is, but let's just assume a range of 1-to-1 here. Well, of course, we can assume that it could fall all the way back down to, even here, right? But we're going to assume a basic retracement of anywhere between 382 and 618, okay? So these are the levels that it could fall to. If you guys pause this video if you want to see targets, so it could retrace if it got to only here, okay? I'm assuming a 1-to-1 extension, so make sure you guys are following here and don't get too. What I do as a trader is I make sure I assume realistic targets, okay? I don't want to overpromise and then underdeliver. So let's say just hit this target of 1-to-1 right now, which is 1078, okay? But we'll actually overshoot it by just a little bit, just to follow the rule that it's gonna at least hit it and buy a little bit more, right? Okay. So let's just say we go for somewhere like up there. Based on Fibonacci, it could retrace all the way down to 618 level. That's the worst case scenario. 670. It could retrace down to 851, right? If it was very, the bullish sentiment and there was much better news out for Bitcoin and people started putting money into that market, well, if Bitcoin started to go up, worst case scenario for Bitcoin Cash is that it could fall down to the 640 level, maybe even lower if it was bearish pressure to go down and something fundamentally changed with it, right? So it could even fall down here. For all we know, it could fall down all the way back down to here for like, $200-300. But let's assume that it stays bullish, then it could easily fall down to only like 776 to 851 range, okay? So after, let's say it hits that target of 1-to-1, it'll most likely do a correction to somewhere down there. And then after that, guys, if it continues to remain very bullish, what we will actually get is just assuming a typical 1-to-1 target and a little bit more, we'll say, and assuming a typical retracement of, say, any 0.5, the next target could easily be on a 1-to-1 ratio, $1,637. And now this is this is speculative, guys. First of all, we don't know how high it's gonna go for Bitcoin Cash, okay? We don't know, but what we do know is that it will go at least to 1078. Targets rarely fail. The wick might even poke through, but people are gonna push for that target because it's now a general consensus for all analysts out there right now. So it could get up to 1078, could go a little bit higher. Let's assume we just do a normal one, okay, guys? Let's assume that the most normal scenario we can assume, 1-to-1 and a little bit more, okay? And then we're going to assume a normal 618 retracement, right? You guys would agree with me that's a pretty, it's never normal. Don't get me wrong, okay? Don't get me wrong. 618 is not ever normal, because if everyone thought it was normal, everyone would be buying there and we'd all be making money together. But what I'm just saying is that let's assume that it goes to about the 618 level right here, all right? And it also, we assume it gets to 1-to-1 level. Now we can use our fib extensions to extrapolate even further. Whoops. We can use fib extension from there to a little bit higher than here to about the 618 level. And I kid you not, based on a 1-to-1 extension again, we're now targeting about $1,413 on 1-to-1. But sometimes wave 5 is shorter than wave 3. Sometimes wave 5 is longer than wave 3. So the fifth wave could realistically be anywhere, you know, from here to here. We might even get just a double top. So the fifth wave, we don't know exactly where it's going to be, and that's a really big range. But because I'm extrapolating so much, guys, and there's not that much data yet, it's impossible to give targets. But I just want you guys to know how optimistic I am, right? And this is how a technical analyst will start to evaluate and make very long-term targets. So what is the next course? The next course is to see what target it gets to. Will it make a 1-to-1? Will it go a little bit higher? And if so, how much higher, right? And then once we know where the top is, I mean, we're reaching into dangerously oversold areas already. And if my advice counts for anything, guys, please do not short Bitcoin Cash right now. I'm not a financial advisor or anything right now, but you guys need to factor in all the fundamental news, okay? You need to factor in all the fundamental news with Bitcoin. And I've spent the past 6 hours researching, right? And I do this full time for a living, guys, where I'm immersing myself in news all day, and I trade the markets, and you guys have seen me tweet all day as well. This is what I do for a living. This is my general opinion as well. And I just want to be very clear that I would never short Bitcoin Cash right now because of how bullish the entire market is, especially today with this volume, guys. The volume that we have today on November 10th is equal to the volume in the past 3-4 days, okay, guys? And those who are shorting it, be extremely careful, please, okay, guys? So what am I going to do? I'm going to wait for a small correction, and I'm going to buy the crap out of Bitcoin Cash. So guys, I wanted you to have a very clear understanding of some targets that we might have, what is going on fundamentally in the Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash world, right? And I hope that you guys stay profitable and always stay cautious as well. So other than that, have yourselves a great day. If you guys enjoyed this video, please subscribe to me on YouTube. You know, please upvote it on Steemit as well. Yeah, upvote it on Steemit, guys. It only takes 1 second. And other than that, subscribe to me on Twitter. No, I meant to say subscribe to me on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter. And if you guys absolutely enjoy all my videos, the dog that's been barking, you know, she's got her own little cryptocurrency piggy bank that I don't touch, and I save for her vet bills down the road. You guys are more than welcome to donate to it as well, right? Or I'll use it for a cup of coffee or something. Other than that, have yourselves a great day. May you always stay profitable. Actually, no, that's not what I meant to say. I meant to say, may the profits forever be in your favor. I stole that from the Hunger Games for the people that didn't know. So take care, guys. Bye now.